Oh, you guys, I got to turn that thing down. It is just getting on my nerves. Every time I use it, it's like this blue. They are better. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Tedkemeyer. I used to write for Pathos for nearly 10 years, a blog called No Longer Quivering. I wrote a daily column for them that involved religion and foolishness. And we're going to talk foolishness tonight. Let me say this is just my opinions, and don't harass anybody I'm talking about, anybody at all. So I got back this evening from going to Liberia to get another couple of cases of this crap that I'm addicted to. Hey, Liz. I was busy this evening doing different things, putting stuff up. You know how it is when you do a Costco run, you come back with everything in your brother and you're like, where am I going to put all this crap? So I did all that, fed the cats, had a little fun correcting a Nigerian scammer's plea. This was interesting. I'm toying with this one. He's pretending to be Christopher Wray of the FBI, but see how many mistakes he's made on his thing. I wish I had a red pen to do some editing, but I used blue and sent it back and asked him why on earth he had the address of the J. Edgar Hoover building so wrong. So I come back and I'm minding my own business, giggling, writing back to some Nigerian scammer, pretending like I'm an epic grammar Nazi, which I can be sometimes. And lo and behold, somebody PMs me and says, have you seen Katie's live? I'm like, no, because this is no hate watching August, so I don't watch her. I watch the clips when they get put up. Hey, Plays in the Rain. Hey, Liz. And the 411 was given to me that she accused Molly GoLightly of having worked in Las Vegas as a lady of the night's a nice way to put it. Let's put it this way. She was a hooker, not the kind of hooker that makes rugs. I'm not saying that Molly was, because I don't believe that. Hey, Brenda Lee. Hey, Jean. Here's the thing. I don't believe it, number one, because I believe somebody is so desperate to throw shade at Molly, they're coming up with even the tiniest little bits of gossip. So I'm not believing this, but I want to talk about a larger issue than believing Molly was that at all. And it has really nothing to do with Molly or KJ. Are we really the kind of people that are going to throw shade at somebody choosing to do that line of work? Being a sex worker is hard work, or so I've been told. I don't know. I've never been a sex worker. But if you were, and you were a sex worker in a place like Nevada, where it's actually legal in places, why should you be ashamed of that? It's your choice. You're doing it at a place that it's legal. And this little S-weasel is throwing shade for such a thing that is not shameful at all. It's just what people do. And desperate women sometimes end up doing this. This is not something that most women would choose to do. So there's the whole exploitation and sex traffic thing. And I know that. Terry. And I see that somebody seemed like Molly doesn't get drunk and go out in the night without panties. KJ does, without underwear. I've been known to do that myself occasionally. And warning, my husband's swimming, so he may come running through here naked. And if he does, you're going to see me laugh so hard and fall off my chair, because he doesn't expect me to do a live stream. But he doesn't know I just saw this thing where KJ seemed kind of super amped up and was throwing shade at Molly, and then throwing shade at anybody who would work as a sex worker. And like I said, this is not something that I think we need to be throwing rocks at. We need to make sure it happens legally and that no one is exploited, that it's their willing choice, and there's no sex trafficking. And if all those criteria are met, go right ahead. I mean, I guess I'm getting more liberal about those things about old age. Hey, Flying Monk, Laura. I just can't believe that we've gone there. Yeah, we're not going to shame either one. I don't want to shame going commando or sex workers or even running around nude. It's not my preference. My husband keeps trying to get me to swim nude, but I got a problem. When I'm old, when I get in the pool, these things go straight up to my chin. And I'm not trying to give myself a black eye when I'm swimming. So, suit for me because I'm not doing it with the boobs flopping around. But anybody else that chooses to do that, hey, that is their right. That's why I'm upset with her for her shaming anybody choosing to do that. I guess it must be hard to live in this tiny little basement in Minnesota and not be exposed to the greater world and not have any kind of capacity for compassion or sympathy or trying to understand anybody, just immediately throwing out the hate. Hey, Amanda, I just couldn't believe it. Every time I say I'm never going to talk about her again, KJ says, okay, hold my beer or my fancy water for me. Hold my beer, and I'm going to do something just so outrageous that you'll be forced to talk about me. You know, straight across a major highway here, there was a house of ill repute. I can see their front gate if I stand on my pool deck on the very end and look over the highway. I can see it. I can see their front gate. I've teased my husband more than once and said, hey, you know, if I had a high-powered camera with a telephoto lens, I could have a second career. I could be blackmailing all these guys going in there because those are the ones I really hold responsible for all of this kind of stuff, are the men that are seeking this out. Hey, Christine. And I got so avidly curious about it, I started questioning our pool guys because I know they service the pool over there before they come over here. And they were shut down for a very long time during COVID, only recently reopened. And I'll ask them what's going on over there with the girls, how many there are. Occasionally I'll see them walking on the highway, but most of the time they're there. They're tested every week. And it's perfectly legal. So, like I said, we don't need to be shaming anybody doing this. The only person that needs to be shamed out of this is KJ for going there with her suspicions. And we know it's not based on anything even remotely fact-like. I know some women who choose to be strippers and sex workers. For them, it's something they choose to do. Flying Monk, Laura, I knew people when I was in college that was how they were paying for their college. They were working the bars of Bourbon Street as strippers. And I had a couple that would occasionally do the other stuff. So for me, I see it's something that a lot of women openly choose to do. It is what it is. Because it isn't her choice, of course she's going to put it down and say horrible things about those women that do that, instead of trying to understand where they're coming from with this. I mean, you might as well make a little money off yourself if you're in that situation. That's all I'm going to say. I've never wanted to do it, but hey, if Molly GoLightly is not sitting at KJ's supper table every night, she should probably shut her pie hole. Archimedes girl, I wish she would, but she has got such a hate heart on for Molly right now that she's trying to stir stuff up. She's trying to come up with stuff, and she doesn't care if it even sounds remotely real. She doesn't care if it has any basis in reality. She just wants to make her seem the worst she can. Flying Monk, I guess she's heard it then. I saw she did an hour and a half live, and I went in and rewatched some of it, but I didn't get to that part. I started getting fidgety because they were having a long discussion about uh, chunky bars. And I'm on a diet. I don't need to be looking at those things. I don't need to be watching somebody eat them. I'm just going to want them. She made a joke. She's trying to poke. Yeah, she is trying to poke her into response because she's chosen to ignore her, and KJ can't stand it. Amanda, more power to her. I hope she can keep doing that. I hope she can, because this is outrageous. What will she say next? She's going to say Molly GoLightly kill somebody, and we all know KJ likes to project, don't we? She has projected things on people before that she's either done or been involved in. So is this her projecting something she herself has done in the past? She said she was late for work because she was doing a live. That's really bizarrely funny in the way. And KJ acts like it's all $5 jobs that start with blow behind the trailer, behind the gas pumps for the 18 wheelers. No, some people I've known that have done that have commanded top dollar and worked through agencies. Molly was acting on a show. Okay. Well, good for her. I only hope that, I hate to say this. I'm going to crazy Chris Hansen, I'm Chris Hansen. You want to have a seat? To the guys who are showing up for those To Catch a Predators. Now, we know he was talking to Red Rampage to Kelly recently. I'm sorry, Jesse. I got my girls mixed up. Jesse recently. And I'm like, why are you looking at Jesse when Jesse is just a hot mess, just spewing, and she's not hurting anybody? Whereas KJ is hurting a lot of people with the crazy stuff she's coming up with. I feel so bad for Miss Letitia because of everything that KJ said and the stuff she's tried to put her through, and Molly GoLightly about the donations. She's an older lady without a whole lot of internet knowledge or experience. So she is just crushed when this stuff happens. Me, I'm kind of like flipping the bird when people do that to me, that sort of thing, because I'm kind of jaded now after 10 years of writing for Pathos and having every fundy in the world tell me things like they prayed I got uterine cancer. I had to write back and say, well, you better pray that God restores my uterus because I don't have one. Things like that. She's only hurting herself. Her views are way down on YouTube. Christine, one can hope. One can only hope. Because everything she's doing is just getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And I would have never put that on there. I bet by tomorrow night, KJ will have a Molly GoLightly source that she's in daily contact with. You know she will. That is her jam. She likes to say she has sources, which kind of makes me laugh because a lot of the Duggar stuff that she said she had sources for, she got from me. She didn't have sources. I told her some of those old rumors and said, you can't confirm it, so you can't use it. I haven't been able to use any of that in NLQ because I cannot source it. If you can't source it, you don't use it. You just look at the person and say, you're thinking those things. Like thinking that one's likely gay from everything everybody is saying and things you've observed. But you don't jump out there and say, so-and-so is gay, especially not in that subculture where it can get you killed or shunned or all sorts of not so good outcomes. What is KJ's end game with going after Molly and Letitia? I don't think she has an end game. I think when Molly turned her back on her and Miss Letitia and Marvon Sr. and the others in the family stopped talking to KJ. I mean, just completely stopped talking They enraged her so much, or she felt so severely rejected, that now it is a kind of a one-upsmanship. I was writing about that in my book because I saw so many people in Quiverful that there would be one-upsmanship during prayer or anything like that, or like Bible study. Somebody would say, "Oh, I was praying half the night for blah, blah, blah." And said, "Well, I stayed up all night and I was praying for all the Catholics in the world." So just builds more and more. What does she want to have happen? Jail? People throw stones at them, being destroyed? I think she wants them to be destroyed, because I don't think she's going to be able to send either one of them to jail because they haven't done anything wrong. So she's trying to invent wrong so that people will turn on them. So I think that's her end game, is just to destroy reputations as much as she can and tear people down, because that's what she does. That is exactly what she does. She likes to tear others down. And I don't get it, because it's kind of a form of murder if you think about it. If you follow your 10 commandments, you don't commit murder. And that's kind of a spiritual murder, where you're constantly saying these things about people, trying to tear them down, trying to break them down as much as possible. Molly GoLightly has been around for a long time. KJ can't destroy her. I don't think KJ can destroy her, because she doesn't give a rat's patoot. She's going to keep on going. She reminds me of a Muslim, well, not Muslim, Arabic proverb I tried to live by. I'm paraphrasing here. The dogs may bark, but still the caravan moves on, which means that you just move forward and you're the caravan, and those people that are critical and snapping at your heels, you don't worry about them much. You just keep on moving forward. Now, you may warn others, "Hey, there's a rabid dog over there." Or, "Hey, this one over here might snap at you and bite you." My husband got bit by a dog down the street the other day while he was riding his motorcycle. In a strange way, I feel really feel sorry for KJ. I can't imagine living in KJ's brain. I don't think it's a happy place. I don't think it's a happy, calm place at all. I was talking to my husband earlier today, and I said, I'm probably the happiest, most relaxed I've been in years and years right now. There's literally nothing I absolutely must do when I get up in the morning. I can get up and plan my day and do what the hell I want. There's no boss over me anymore. I'm able to do what I want, do what projects I want or not do, lay in the bed and read all day if I want, lay out by the pool, go shopping, without worrying, is there money in that account or not, knowing that I'm going to give them my card and it's going to pay. I can't tell you what a freedom, what a blessing that is. I've never had that in my life. And I've always been the one having to make everything work. And I'm not like that anymore. I'm kind of like letting control go. I don't think that she knows what it's like to live without trying to control everything. And when you try to control everything like that, like trying to control others and trying to punish others when they don't behave in ways you're trying to make them behave. Like, she was trying to talk to the family over and over, trying to say she was the only one that could talk to the family over and over. Justin, that she was the only one that could possibly have this audio or whatever. And they were kind of laughing at her. I think that she doesn't know what it's like to live without control. She gets up every day and her whole thing is to control everybody around her, to control everybody talking about her, to control other creators. And that must be an awful place to live. I cannot imagine how horrible that must be. I just don't get it. I guess I never will. And it's not going to play out well for her. She's got the lawsuit with Steve, the lawsuit with Todd Chrisley, the lawsuit with 7M hanging over her head, and they're watching. They are watching. People are doing clips, people are doing screen caps. They are watching. I wonder if she will ever learn we really do not have control over anyone. Flying monkey, just have control over yourself. That is it. KJ only sees red. She responds with revenge. She has a maturity problem on top of everything else. Kentucky girl, you're right. She is very immature. She immediately plots revenge, and that's stupid because it came out today with some things she was saying that she had pulled criminal records and financials before Marvon's family turned on her. That takes a level of planning that is crazy. CC's deep dive video is supposed to come out tomorrow. Christine, I can't wait. She is such a control freak. She lashes out to control strangers because she is so out of control of her lot in life. Lisa, and that's tragic. Can you imagine what kind of tension that must be to live in? I can't even. I slept in this morning till almost 10 a.m. In my former life, that would have been impossible. And when I was raising my kids and I was super control freaking around, that would have been unheard of. I would have really had to be, really bad sick. And was I sick this morning? Heck no. I was just tired. I stayed in bed. My husband stayed in bed with me. Neither one of us got out until almost 10 o'clock. Looking at the clock, saying, how late is it? Oh, I don't want to know. I guess it's around 10. Well, hell, we'll eat breakfast and go shopping. So that's what we did. And we had a really fabulous day. And at the same time, she is doing her thing where she is sitting in the house, lashing out at folks, doing video after video after video. I'm getting my nighttime meds ready. I just realized what time it was. And just being unhappy and plotting. I have a sister who shares a lot in common with KJ, possibly worse. The only thing to do if we absolutely have to deal with her is to smile and laugh because she wants you to get upset. Yeah. I have somebody, not in my immediate family and not in my blood family, but let's just say in my family orbit, who has to be a covert narcissist just because of the way they act. And the only way to deal with that is to smile and say yes or say no. Say, how are you? Fine. You just don't give a narcissist any real information because they will run with it and make their own narrative. And we've learned that with her. And I think that's the way it is with her too, with KJ. I don't doubt that family and friends probably give her the least amount of information possible for that reason. Little nothing. Yeah, I need to take my drugs before 11. My hubby and I worked so hard. We bought our freedom from the rat race at 58 and 60. I'm not in a tropical paradise, but our days are wide open. Lisa, and that is the most wonderful thing on the planet. We scrimped and saved to make this happen. Let me tell you, she and Todd need their son and go on vacation. Absolutely, Christine. They do. Someplace it's relaxing. Hey, Kimberly Ann. Hey, Kimberly Ann. I've just been ranting after hearing that KJ accused Molly GoLightly of, what? Why are you trying to shame sex workers and Molly in the same breath? Why are you acting like this is some horrible, horrible, horrible thing that, does she expect us to grab our fans and smelling salts and start going, oh, heaven forfend? I don't know what she expects to have come out of this. I'm sorry, I'm a little loopy. My blood pressure is a little low too. I found out when I came home. I don't know what that is all about, but I don't care. Yeah, Kimberly Ann. Is that kind of crazy? Because I was kind of like, I'm done with it. BITCH. And that happened. And it was like unbelievable. And it's not like the time my father called me and I was living in Germany and said, "You'll never guess who I saw and where I saw and what they were doing." And I was like, "I don't have any idea. I'm in Germany. You're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tell me." And he said, "I just saw Jimmy Swaggart with a very expensive call girl in, I think it was Jack Saban's, one of the big fancy steakhouses in Baton Rouge." And I told him, I said, "You got to be delusional, Dad. Are you sure? Are you 100% sure?" Well, it turned out he was right. But in this case, I don't think KJ is right. I think she's wrong. And even if it were even slightly true, it's none of her business. I mean, it's really none of her business. Just like all the former history with Letitia is none of her business. She called Letitia an egg donor. Look who's speaking. Somebody who is not a real component in their own child's life is speaking like that. In an age where people openly discuss their OnlyFans pages, are we supposed to give a damn if Molly GoLightly did work in Vegas? Come on now. Plus, it's legal in Vegas. I pointed it out. It's legal in Nevada. So why is she flipping out? She would be just plying a trade that's legal. There's nothing wrong with that. And it would be Molly's business if that were true. I don't think it is. But at the same time, I don't want to see sex workers. I don't want to see sex workers denigrated either. KJ. Anyway, I'm going to try to go to bed here in a few because I got stuff I got to get up and do in the morning. I have a few things I have to get out of the way. I have to get back to the art store because they overcharged me on something. And I don't like paying. I don't like overpaying. And this is one of those things that was so simple that I buy 3 for $1 normally in the States, not $20. So good night, everybody. I'm going to go to bed laughing because I can't get over this. I can't get over that she would say that. Sweet dreams.